Maybe. Yeah, Mr. Bennett, am I audible? Good evening.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, so I just want to inform and apologize. Uh, I am in Sikkim right now, and because of the weather, and I think it's very snowy right now here. Uh, Current is coming and going. It's like of that. So as soon as the current, I'll be visible more. It's a blurred view right now. So, good evening, all of you, and good evening to all the participants who are wishing right. Uh, okay, some are in the waiting room, I guess. So,
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
very good evening, very good evening. Okay, I'm admitting. Yeah, you're right. Good evening.
Yeah, this is Bennett, sir. Sir, we will do the admit work, sir. Don't worry, sir. Technical team is there. They will take care of admitting and just to make you as a
Oh,
host to share the screen.
perfect. So, I'll save the screen and we'll start. Let everybody join. Participants are there, by the way. How much number should I wait for before starting the session?
We will start, sir. They will come because there are more than 200 participants. We will
Okay,
start the session.
okay, fine. Okay, so
So,
let
shall I
me
introduce
share the
about
screen.
yourself, sir? Formal introduction.
Please go ahead and we can start. Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. So, good evening, dear participants. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Sir, you are
Yes,
clearly
sir.
audible, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, dear participants. And this is the third day. Welcoming you all for the third day of this research methodology workshop on proposal writing for funded projects. And today we are the day 3, and today it's my duty and sole responsibility. And I'm really happy to welcome Professor Dr. Vivek Pathak, sir. He's an associate professor of Department of Management, ICFI University, Sikkim. So it is really, sir, our pleasure to have you as a resource person in this forum. As Sanjay Tiwari sir rightly pointed out that you are a legend in the field of research. So we are very eager to listen to your class on the given title called Research Objectives and Hypothesis, guiding for our study while writing for a proposal. Dear participants, the time is 6. Without taking much time, let me hand over the session to the resource person so that he can have the class for 1.5 hours, and remaining 30 minutes is for discussion. I will repeat. We'll be having the continuous class for 1.5 hours, and then we'll be having the question and answer session, discussion session, and requesting all the participants to mute your what was that audio to our disturbance. Yesterday's resource person was keep on telling. Even we also finding quite difficult. So this is education forum. We are not supposed to disturb a faculty, and he also taken lots and lots of effort to deliver the lecture. It is not an easy task. So to sit in front of a laptop or a computer to talk for more than 1 hour or 2 or without going for any break, and we have to respect them. And on behalf of Department of Indian Sociological Society, RC25 Sociology of Sports, St. Jude's College, Kanyakumari, MOP College for Women, Chennai, Bharati Institutions, Tamil Nadu, and we welcome you, sir, on behalf of all the institutions, collaborative institutions. And on behalf of Dr. Sanjay Tiwari, sir, I welcome you because I was in the meeting. He told I may come by 6:10 to 6:20. So he told me that, Bennett, because only don't wait because for me, you can start the session since the people are in the pipeline. So without taking much time, let me directly hand the session to our resource person, Dr. Vivek Pathak, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Very good evening to all the participants and all the team members to making this who are making this workshop going ahead. And
Yes. Hello,
thank you
sir.
all. I really appreciate the effort. So
Sir, am I
I'll
audible?
start. Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah,
Please
sir.
tell.
Since there is a power issue from your end, you can switch off your video and talk, sir. No problem. Since we have the recording
Okay.
and we are having
Okay.
YouTube stream also, sir. You can switch off the video and you can speak since you're having the power issue.
Yeah, when it comes after one.
Yeah,
Thank you
please,
very
please.
much for this
Yeah,
understanding. Thank you.
thank
Yeah.
you, thank you, thank you.
So I think till now you people, the participants have gotten information about how to start the proposal and what technicalities are there. Majorly, any research proposal carries down the line around 5 to 6 sections. First section is the abstract, a very crucial one. Second section is called as introduction. Third, we take about literature review, or in literature review, it includes conceptual framework and theoretical framework, all these things. Then we go to methodology, research methodology, how you are going to do the research. And then there are findings, data analysis and findings, what you have done with the data, what data is showing and what data is saying, is both the things. Then we go for discussion and concluding the research paper or the proposal. In all these things, two major, important, very crucial, very significant components are there, which are normally, you know, in a normal lecture process or a normal classroom studies, these things are little got hidden. They got out of the track. People think that it is okay, no problem, it can be done very easily. One is objective, and second one is the hypothesis. While doing data analysis, we play with numbers and we only think or we only know that hypotheses are for either accepting or rejecting, and our study is okay. Issue is how you are formulating your hypothesis, why you have formulated your hypothesis, what type of hypothesis you have framed, what was your objective, why this is the objective of your study. These type of questions are nowadays very prominent while your paper or research article is going for publication, or your research proposal projects are going for funding agencies to get approved for the funding. They don't see how you have done the paper or project, how you have written it. Basically, the new trend is they see why you have taken this topic, why you have taken this objective, how you have formulated your hypothesis, what is the background of your study, why you are doing this study. Now, to answer all these questions and to elevate the quality of the proposal, research article, projects, objectives and hypothesis has to be very clearly defined, very clearly written, very clearly mapped together. And this session particularly will be uh, going ahead with these 2 points and to see how these 2 points are very important also, and we will try to understand how, what technicalities, what are the things writing the objectives or formulating rather, and proposing and formulating the hypothesis also. So we'll start with the slide. And I have written in the first slide, you can see it's guiding your study. Data analysis, very crucial part of the
The slides
literature
are not
review.
moving.
No, it's not moving. I'm on the first slide only. Still in the first slide. When I'll move to the second slide, and after that, we'll just confirm it. So why I've written guiding your study is because whatever literature review you have done, whatever analysis you have done, whatever discussion and counters measures you have taken, if your objectives and hypotheses are not mapped together, then your study is not going in the right direction. So these objectives and hypotheses are guiding your study toward an achievement, toward a end. So that is why these are very important and crucial sections of the research. Now I'm moving to the second slide. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir,
this
it
is
is
the
moving.
second slide. Now it is okay, I guess. Yeah. So understanding research objectives. We'll first look after objectives, try to understand what research objectives are. And then we'll go to hypothesis, and then we'll map how objectives and hypothesis are mapped together, or what is the correlation between them. First is your objective should be very specific. And when I say specific research objective, some of the there are two school of thoughts. A school of thought says it can be a broad definition of your aim and objective of the research paper. Second school of thought says that it should be very concise statement, very specific what you want to do. So it is up to it is the sole responsibility of the researcher how he or she want to put the research objective. If he or she is putting it at a broad objective, then my suggestion will be break down your broad objectives into some research questions, number of multiple research questions. Based on those, you go for a hypothesis. If your study is minutely and working on a niche area, right, in a particular concise area, then of course you have to go for a specific and concise statements. So by definition and by school of thoughts of the scholars around the world, research objectives can be broad, can be specific. Most we prefer specific objectives so that the clarity should be there. One clear statement should guide your study when you are starting your study, or writing the paper, doing the analysis, collecting data. So it will guide you throughout the paper when your statement is very concise and very specific. But it does not mean only concise and specific objectives are seen in the paper for publication or acceptance or all these things. Broader objectives are also taken in consideration. Only thing is you have to substantiate that with broken objectives, these research questions. And if you are having 3-4 research questions for one broad objective, fine. There is no problem in that. So you have to, it is the sole responsibility of the research paper how he or she want to proceed. Now, the purpose of research objective is to provide a roadmap for the study, because whatever we are doing, a lot of sections I have discussed in the starting, that a lot of sections are there in a research article. Starting from the introduction, literature review, conceptual framework, discussion, all these things. What you are doing, why you are doing, how you are doing, when you are doing, all these questions is aligned to the single statement that is called objective. So objective becomes very clear, important, crucial, significant. So this becomes the roadmap of the study. Here I put you show you an example of a research paper where the clarity is basically helps. See here, let me zoom a little bit so that you can read it in the screen. I think it is readable. So this is a paper titled Antecedents of Mobile Advertising Value, a Precedence Analysis. So in this, what you can see in the abstract, it is very, I think, this paper aims to explore and explore and rank, very specifically we have written there, the various antecedents of advertising value, okay, perceived by consumers to offer meaningful conclusions to marketers on mobile platform. The whole paper of this one sentence give a complete picture of what the whole paper is all about. Consider, explores various antecedents of advertising value, rank them, calculate ends, and that is done. The data is collected from the consumers who perceive this advertising value. And why we are doing this study? So that conclusions can be given to the platform. Those marketers who are using mobile platform for advertisement, for promotion of their products and services. So we have taken this. Objective should be like this: clear, concise, everything done. One statement and your paper is through. Now, whatever is there in this, people will understand what has been written, why these things are going on. Okay, so this is one objective. Now, second paper, you can see, I'm showing you the live examples of the research papers were published. so that you can understand why, how the things are done. So in this study aims to investigate the effect of social media marketing activities on consumers' purchase intention, as well as now one objective is clear here. Now we have now the breakdown is there with another objective, but aligned with the same one. So we are making one same sentence, as well as to test the mediation effect of consumer-based brand equity. Second variable, first variable is SMM, and consumer inspiration (INS) between the relationship of SMM and PI. So these two variables are there in consideration. Relations of these two we are investigating, and we are just trying a mediation or moderation effect of. So you see, the objective written here is very clear and concise. This is previous example. This is a concise objective. Here it is little bit broader in sense. See, everything is mentioned in the objective. We are doing mediation, we are doing this, we are doing that. So little bit broad, but not actually it is a broad one. But yeah, it is uh, crossing the boundary of a clear and concise objective. In this one, this is very clearly written, very concisely written. Here it is a little bit of broader. So it's up to the researcher who how he or she want to put the objective in a broader one or a concise one. It's up to you. Okay, so this provides a roadmap of the study, and when anything, any sentence or any word which is going to guide your whole journey of a research paper, the hard work we are doing for publishing a paper, writing a paper, and if it is going to, you know, mm, see through the conclusion. So that part, that section has to be very important. So objectives should be written very clearly so that the soul of the paper, soul of your concept, soul of your idea, sole purpose of why you are writing the paper or the proposal should carry forward till the end, till the last stop of the conclusion section. Now, importance, what is the importance of research objectives? First is determine methodology. If, for example, uh, let's take the example back here in this one. If we are saying that this paper aims to explore and rank, one is exploration, second is ranking. So we are saying that in this whole paper, yeah, my current has come. Just a second, just a second. Please, apologies for the. I like to switch on my video. Current is there. I'm very happy. Thank you. So here you can see that it mentioned that explore the various antitheses of advertising value means it's an exploratory study from the literature review, and it is written that various means when we are ranking, it's very saying that we are not going to use regression, we are not going to use correlation, we are not going to use all these parametric, non-parametric tests because it is about ranking. Ranking tools are very different. Okay, so here it is clear that this study will do a ranking kind of thing, means some algorithm will be there, and this will be taking the iterations of the items which has been found in the literature. So it is little bit clear in the objective, and as the methodology goes on, as the paper goes on, whosoever is reading or going through the paper will understand what is. So it gives an idea of what methodology you are going to take. In the second research paper, we can see that this study investigate the effect of social media. Effect. When we are talking about cause and effect, it is very known to all of you are researchers, all of you are good scholars. Uh, so we know that cause and effect relationships are being checked into correlation, into regression. There are a lot of tests. Structure equation modeling is there. So when we are talking effect, it is saying that particular study will be using some kind of regression equation because cause and effect can be checked in the correlation or regression equations. Then we are saying that as well as to test the mediation effect. When we are taking mediation, it means Hayes process will be used or some similar process will be used, in which we will be seeing or will be assessing a relationship between three variables, and we'll try to see how the third variable is impacting the relationship between first and second variable. So it is giving a clear picture to the reader that okay, some kind of mediation effect is going to be checked. Means there is a third variable which is having some impact on relationship of first and second variable, and this study is going to check that. It is very clear from the objective itself, and this will help in devising the methodology research paper or the proposal or the project. So this type of the objectives help you define your methodology, how you are going to do the what methods you are going to use, how you are going to uh, collect the data, what sample, what kind of population will be there, which population you are going to talk about, and properly how you are going to do the analysis of the data, what mechanism which you will use, what test techniques you will use, what software you will use. These things come into picture when your objective is very clear. Data collection process and analysis. Methodology as a whole, it will determine, it will give you an upper edge, it will give a clear roadmap, clear explanation, clear understanding of what methodology you want to use or you have to use, what kind of data collection method you will be going for, what type of analysis tools and technique you will be using. So these things, given by a clear and concise and a good objective, research objective. Key characteristics of the objective which is acceptable worldwide, or you can say mm, uh, I mean, it is widely accepted and it is respected, or can say what would be the characteristics of a very nice, good research objective, or which objective is called good one. So what characteristic it should follow. So there is a Elsevier has Elsevier research. They have research classrooms nowadays. They are promoting research. I think most of you might be knowing. And if you don't know, you can go through the Elsevier website. They have a research forum, some kind of classroom they have. You can go and understand about research. You can log in, understand and learn. They give the certificates on some petty fees also. So this is going on. So there it is also mentioned that there is a smart feature of objective. The objective has to be smart. The word smart is not that smart and looking beauty and all these things. It's basically a specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound. The objective should be having this characters, this five, characters should be shown in the objective itself. Now, when we do this type of discussion with the research scholars and we do with the faculty members of the universities and institutions, it comes to the discussion that it objective is just single line. It's a two, collection of words, or two lines or half lines at max. Why so much uh, uh, thought objective? Is so much of importance for the objective? What is there in the objective? It should be just a statement. We can start the paper, and our analysis will be having such big tools and techniques. We will be using machine learning and all those high things will be used. Paper will get elevated in the quality parameters. No, it is not like that. If you're not clear the line of your not go through. The soul is not there. You are working out of the soul. The paper will not get accepted. The proposal will not get accepted. You have to be very clear from the very first line. That is the objective. That's why objective, it implies the statement of the whole concept and whole paper. It is two lines, but stating everything about what, why, where, when, everything it is saying. So it has to be smart. Now, I've just taken a diagram from, I guess, sources indeed. They have done very nicely. So, in this photograph to have a discussion in the session. Means make your goal specific and for more effective planning. If the goal or the aim of the research is specific and narrowed down with the help of these questions, of course, what will happen? Planning will be effective. If your objective is very clear, like in the example which I have mentioned in the one is having very clear example that this will be exploring the ranking. So we are very clear that what we are doing. Our planning is very sure that I need two algorithms, either mathematical algorithm or statistical algorithm, which will be doing the iteration of the factors and it will ranking based on the responses of the students. Second, whereas says that we are going to check the effect of some variable on another variable, and we will also third variable on variable. So structure equation modeling has to be used. Regression will become picture. It will be coming into picture. All those terminologies of statistics will come into picture because it's cause and effect relationship. Planning is very clear. If your objective is specific and effect, you plan. That's why it is said objective should be specific. Secondly, it should be measurable. Make sure your goal and progress are measurable. See, hypothetical situations should not be your objective. You should refrain yourself from taking making objectives from our hunches. Sometimes, whenever researcher goes through the first process of a research, is basically the literature review. It is said worldwide. If you want to write a research paper, you want to write a proposal, what you have to do, you have to go for literature review on any topic of concern. While through the literature review, it's human nature. It's a very basic nature. You create one conscience of you that this can be done, this cannot be done. What if this we do? What if this is happening? So when this type of counter is coming in picture, and people, the research uh, is doing all these things in the literature review, a hunch or you can hypothetical situation into the mind that why not I take this objective and let me and see what based on your personal opinion, based on your personal hunches, based on your personal excitement, not propose objectives. From making objectives, writing the objectives. It is never what your objective should be substantiated with the literature review, the existing literature, what people are seeing, what scholars are seeing. They have all published paper, they're scholars. It means they have done hard work. So substantiation has to be done. Now, evidence-based should be framed. That's why the title should be very good, concise, affordable, variable, definable, and the objective likewise. The paper will in the right path, proposal will in the right path, and the chances of acceptance or you can publication increases. Okay, so the objective should be measurable. Whatever construct or uh, method you are saying in the objective, that should be measurable. It should be very hypothetical situation. Okay, let us this study try to see what happens to me. Stops moving. You cannot measure in single day or 6 months or you go in the space. So that is different. So as a researcher, collecting primary data or secondary data and doing some analysis that cannot be measurable. It's very difficult to do that. Or some unnatural phenomena you are taking care to do a research. Refresh yourself by taking your hunches or hunches. I mostly say to my researchers and my peer faculty members that whatever your hunches are, whatever your thought process is, whatever you think, leave it aside. Go to school readings, see first what you have done. From here, see what can be done. If it can be done, is there any proof that can be people have done it in the past or people have suggested that it should be done in the future? Take that. Out of the blue, don't come up with something with any substance. Okay. Objectives should also be achievable. It should not be like an objective. I'm okay. My objective is to become the prime minister of the country. For example, the prime minister of the country. It is achievable. One bit is achievable, but to the prime minister, what I'm currently doing, what my knowledge is, what is the requirement of becoming PM? Am I on the path? No, academician, I'm actually in a department in a university. I'm doing research paper. Counter what objective you are making. First, counter your objective yourself. See whether it is see uh, some impact of social media influence
Sir, your voice is
marketing
breaking.
or manufacturing. Okay, please. But saying something, please repeat, please.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
Sorry, sir, your voice is breaking.
Still, just a second. Now it is okay. Just me as a I just right now. Now audio is good.
No, sir, we can't hear you properly.
I think it's better you turn off the video from your side. I think that
Yeah,
will be pull your
ready. And with okay. I think now please tell me how is the audio?
Now it's fine, sir.
it's slightly better.
That's better. Thank you for this update. So shall I start from achievable again?
No, you may go on relevant.
No, I think you can continue, please. Yeah, please. Thank you.
So once your objective is achievable, you can think that yeah, it's achievable. It can start framing objectives doing the objectives. It should be relevant. What the objective it should be relevant in context of in the context of research-based studies, in the context of I think, and
Yes, it's visible. Please continue.
so the research objective should be when what you are doing impact on the society, impact on the domain which you are working, and your goal should
There is some
be your
network
values,
issue at
long-term
your end, sir.
objective.
Please check your network.
I think I have to change this one.
Please, it is not clear. Sir, actually, the network is not clear, sir. Other things are fine.
Sir, do you have any other alternate network?
Maybe you can change to another network.
Your mobile, through your mobile network?
Okay, I have switched the network. Let me see whether it is audible or not. Okay.
Yes, sir, it is
Yeah, it is
audible.
better now.
This one is better, I suppose.
We were at relevant. So the objective should be relevant uh, in the context of your study, in the domain of your study, whatever domain of study you are doing, and the research is of any domain, it should be having a relevancy. The objective should be relevant for the people who are studying,
This is
or
better, I supposed.
sorry.
Please mute your phones. Yes, sir, you carry on, please.
Okay, thank you, sir. Relevant. So next is the time-based. Now, realistic objectives are what is looked after by the publishers or the people who are going to accept the proposals. When the objectives are not realistic in nature, or at least no, there has to be some kind of reality what you are proposing. So it is not going through. It will not go as per what you have planned for its publication or acceptance. So set a realistic but ambitious end date to clarify task prioritization and increase motivation. Your objective should clearly say that, or at least it should create a environment of understanding that this study is going to be having a time frame. It will end with some work, and it will prioritize, or it will have some precedence of the things which will be done first, which will be second, which will be third. Like in the example which I have discussed here, you can see the precedence or the priority is given very clearly. This study aims to investigate the effect. First, we will see the effect of this variable on different variable. Then we will see the mediation effect of this variable on the first two variables. Further, this study has also proposed and validated. Now, again, we are saying that we are again moving ahead and proposing and validating the social media marketing activities as a reflective, formative, higher order construct. So this is again one more objective attached to this one with its 5 first order dimension. Okay, we are in the paper we are saying only this dimensions we are working in this particular paper. We are not talking about other variables. So you can see there is a timeline. It is giving a clear picture of this study will be done very soon, or it will be done in a couple of months or a year, and the priority or the precedence of what steps we are going to take for this paper. It is very clearly mentioned here. So objective of the paper you should try to follow. It will be my suggestion that try to follow this type of alignment with the research paper. Here also you can see it is very clearly in one line only it is given, and based on that your proposal get accepted for further publication and other things. So this is all about the smart characteristics of your research objective. Moving ahead, how many types of objective we can say? So as in the previous starting of this lecture only, I have told that there are two types of the objectives can be of two types. One is general objective and one can be a specific objective. Now there are different school of thoughts because it's a scholar, and scholar domain is a very open domain. We accept everyone's voice we counter everyone's voice, we debate everyone's voice. If I'm saying something, other scholar may counter me, but with a substance, with some evidence. Then we again recounter and we see we have a debate on that, healthy debate in that, and then we move ahead, move further. So there are two school of thoughts. One says you can go for general objectives in the study and you can start your study. Second is says specific objective, make this objective very specific and start the study. Don't worry, you are open, you are free to take any one route for your formulating or research objective. Only suggestion with this workshop, I want to suggest to the scholars that if you are going for a general objective, try to substantiate it with broken research questions that will work for your publication or acceptance. And if you are moving ahead with the specific objectives, nothing to worry. It is very nice. So broad objectives are what? General objectives are what? These are the broad goal of the study. For example, to understand the impact of social media on consumer behavior. It's a very broad one. We are not talking about any variable. We are not talking about what kind of study it will be. We are not talking about what this paper will be doing, this proposal will be doing. Nothing at all. But to substantiate this general objective, what we can do, we can put three research questions: that impact of social media on consumer behavior, then social media factors on consumer behavior and purchase intention. Like that, we can break it out. When broken, this research questions are added or substantiating the research general objective, it is fine, accepted across the research scholar domain. Specific objectives are, which is recommended normally, narrow, focused aspects derived from the general objective. From here only, this is derived, but it is mentioned very clearly. For example, to analyze how social media influences purchasing decisions among millennials, or to evaluate the role of Instagram advertisements in brand recall. So you can see both the objectives are saying almost the same thing: influence or impact of social media on consumer behavior. But first one is very general in nature, very broad in nature, and the second one is very specific and very particular in nature. So this is two types of research objectives. You are free to take any one route, but refrain yourself from taking both the form of objective in one proposal or one research paper. Try to avoid that. There is no fixed rule. There is no thumb rule. No one is going to say the paper quality is bad or something. You should not do that. But refrain yourself. In scholarly writing, normally what we say is, if you are starting with something, be on that particular point till the end of your research paper or proposal. Don't deviate from your path. If you are taking a specific objective, go on hypothesis, do the analysis, and done. You're taking general objective also, you're taking a specific objective also, you're taking research questions also, you're taking hypothesis also. Don't do that. It is not recommended. It is not acceptable. You will end up in some trouble later on. So moving ahead. Now processes, all the characteristics we have discussed, what is, we have discussed how it is, we have discussed. Now let us see how you are going to formulate the research objective. So this is a very normal kind of a steps we normally use in formulating the research objectives. One is, first you start with the research problem. What is the research problem? Why this study is being done? What problem you have identified from the literature or the review of literature? So begin by clearly defining your research question or problem. Okay. Second is, break down the components. Components here, you can see the variables or the constructs, whatever you are taking into consideration for your study. So break down the components, divide the problem into smaller actionable parts. That is the variables and objectives you can take. Ensure alignment. Make sure objectives align with the study's overall purpose. What is the overall purpose? To check the impact of one variable on second variable. So you should not talk about other things. Okay, we will see what gender, what impact gender put on this one. What is the influence of descriptive, this demographic profile of the respondent. Doesn't make any sense. What is your objective? Be very specific and go on with the line. Objective should be aligned with your purpose of overall purpose of the study, overall uh, problem of the study, what you have identified from the literature. The objective should align that particular problem. Like I said in the earlier slides, hunches will be there. Your in subconscious mind or the conscious mind will say something extra to add on the research paper. It is very lucrative to see that mind sometimes suggests to do this, we can do that, we also can add this one, we can add this variable also, we can refrain yourself. In one line, I'll very boldly and very taking the responsibility of this statement, say that refrain yourself from deviating yourself from making a clear and concise objective. Make clear and concise objective, align it to the problem of the research paper or the proposal you have started, and then go ahead. Then write objectives in simple and understandable terms. It should be very easy, clear. You should not use the jargons. You should not use or refrain yourself by using the synonyms. Normally, sometimes what we do, we have seen as we are we are reviewers of some papers also from some publication houses. We often find papers, proposals, seeing that objectives has been taken from some other paper. It is very close to the objective which has been already published somewhere. It is very close to that. Only variables are changed. But to make the objective little different from the already published one, or to show some difference in the words selection, people use synonyms. Researchers use synonyms in that, or they use rephrasing words. So here also, very strongly, I will suggest, please refrain yourself from paraphrasing and using synonyms in the objective lines. Your objective may be of 3 lines or 4 lines explaining everything in that, but it should be very clear and very simple line, what word, what sentence you are saying to other person, what is your day-to-day conversation style. Try to write your objective in the day-to-day communication style. That is more likable, that is more good looking in the resource paper, rather than using the jargons and abbreviations and fancy words to make the objective like, wow, what I am doing, people should think that I am doing a very good research. Doesn't make any sense. Nobody is going to see that thing. Objective should be very clear and simple word selection, and it should be in a very clear language. Any part of the world, any country should, any person from any country of the world should understand what your theme is, what is the soul of your research paper, what you want to do, why you want to do, and what is going to be the timeline. So this type of tips you can use in making your research objectives. So moving ahead, now let us come up to the, so after research objectives are made, you can go for formulating your hypothesis. Here one thing come into picture, research questions. And I have seen people have asked also, and people search also in the Google, what is the precedence of, or what is the numbering of research objective, research questions, and research and hypothesis. Which will come first, which comes second, which is third. So this is a query, this is a normal question among the scholars. So there is no particular answer for this one. This is first answer of mine. As for my experience goes and my analysis goes, there is no fixed structure of this one yet, evidently put forward by the authors or the researchers. But as a thumb rule, as a structured, systematic way, which is normally accepted worldwide, it is said that you should go first. You should make research objective, then you should, based on the research objective, you should formulate your research questions. Based on the research questions and objective, you should frame your hypothesis. This is what the pattern majority of the research scholars and faculty members and authors, I must say, follow in their proposal, in their research. But if you say that this is the only rule, I have to abide by this rule, we have to follow this rule. If I don't follow, what will happen? Don't get confused. There is no such fixed rule or a statement that you can't make your hypothesis before a research objective. It may happen. You are going through a research, you are going through a literature review. It will happen, it may also happen. I'm using the word may and will both simultaneously. It will happen and it may happen. You are creating the hypothesis before your objective. It happens. It's a natural phenomena after literature review. You get confused. When confusion is there, you predict something. When you predict something, hypothesis is in the picture. When your hypothesis is in the picture and you see that, yes, I can do that, then your objective come into picture. And when objective is there, your research questions are in picture. It happens. The jumbling or no, the hierarchy may change, the protocol may change, but don't worry with that. It is up to the research scholar or the researcher or whosoever the author is, how you want to proceed. But whatever you do, justify your step. This is one line which I say to all my scholars or to people whom I meet, or this is what is my learning, that whatever you write in your research paper from first alphabet to the last alphabet, try to justify whatever you are writing, why you are writing, where you are writing, when you are writing, whatever it is. Any questions, you just try to think what kind of questions people may ask or they can doubt on your article or on your subject matter. So given that, try to justify as much possible as you can everything of your research article or your proposal. So when your objective is there, justify why this objective. High research question, justify why I have made this research question. Hypothesis, why you are taking that hypothesis, justify, make an argument, put some citations, take help of the literature, then formulate your hypothesis. In this way, your acceptance chances and your publication chances increases. So the benefit part of that. So now after we are formulated research objective and try to understand research objectives, let a little bit go of hypothesis, the second part of the session. What is hypothesis? First of all, to make understand hypothesis, I will say hypothesis is just a hunch. Here I will use the word hunch because this is what we say in hypothesis. It is a hunch, but substantiated with the literature review. And this hypothesis is the statement, it becomes one statement of your article or your research proposal, which make the landing or the starting or the initiation point of your research. Without the hypothesis, you can't start your study. Normally, it is said that if your study is not exploratory, if your study is not only literature review, if it is not any meta-analysis, hypothesis will give you the break point from where you should start your study. So by definition, it is a testable statement or prediction. I normally take or suggest prediction, not the statement. Hypothesis, majority of the times, is prediction, not a statement, because statement by Oxford Dictionary is say that statement is a concise collection of words which is proven, which proves something. Hypothesis, we don't prove anything. We are starting the inquiry and to try to get through either yes or no. Answer is yes or no. We don't know whether the hypothesis will be accepted or not. So it's a prediction. It's just a assumption which you take and you start the study. So a test, my definition will be a testable prediction about the relationship between two or more variables. In your study, when after the literature review and even in your objective, if you are saying that we are going to check impact analysis, cause and effect analysis, we are going to do regression or something like that, then when more than two variables come into picture and you are talking about cause and effect also. So if these two criteria are matching, first criteria is more than two variables are existing in your study, and again you are going to check the cause and effect relationship also. If you are not checking cause and effect, then hypothesis may or may not be there. You can work with the research questions also. No hypothesis required. But if more than two variables are there and you are also checking the cause and effect relationship between the variables, then hypothesis will be there. We don't know what impacts what and what will be the effect of the cause we are talking about. So you take a starting path. For example, I ride my bike at the speed of 100, okay, and this is a situation. I ride my bike at the speed of 100. My bike normally gives an average of 50, for example, but that 50 average is given when the bike is running on 40 to 60 kilometer per hour speed. If I'm riding at 100, my average should go down, but I don't know. I don't have any evidence of that. I am just riding the bike and I'm presuming that, okay, since I'm riding my bike at 100 kilometer per hour, uh, my fuel may go low because my average will be going down. But this is what? This is a hunch. This is just an assumption. Now, if I take this assumption and try to see with the evidence, so what I'll do, I'll note the meter number, what is the kilometers are there. I'll put the petrol of a certain quantity, and then I will see that value, record that value, and then I'll ride my bike with 100 km per hour speed to some certain kilometer, and then again I will calculate that if I have taken the assumption that my uh, average will go down, and after this collection of data, starting the ride and ending the ride, if I match the data and try to see what the fuel is left, so I can get a clear picture that whether my average has increased or it is same or it has gone down. So I have whatever assumption starting I have taken, that is hypothesis which I have taken and tried to substantiate with the data collected at the starting point and at the ending point. So this is hypothesis. You start with an assumption with your point of view, your understanding, and try to see whether this is going to land up or not, whether this is going to get some answers for me or not. So that is called hypothesis. The purpose of hypothesis is to serve as the foundation for conducting empirical research. Majority of hypotheses are used in empirical research, where primary data collection is there and data analysis is there. Hypothesis works very fine, and hypothesis concepts are incorporated in empirical researches. So it gives the foundation for conducting empirical research. If I want to calculate whether my average is going down or not of my bike, so this is a research what I want to do. And if I'm not collecting data from the starting and ending point and the kilometers and all these things, I can't understand or I can't prove my hypothesis that my average is going down or it is it the same as prescribed by the company, right? So that's the hypothesis. If we're talking about characteristics of hypothesis, how it should look like, so there are 3 or 4 very simple characteristics of the hypothesis. One is it should be testable. It is not like the hypothesis, we make a hypothesis out of our conscious mind and say something which is not relevant or not present in the whole world. Let's take the hypothesis and try to see whether it is happening or not. That type of hypothesis you should refrain yourself. Testable, it can be tested with the data you are collecting. It should be evidence based. It should be it can be substantiated with the data that you are using. If your data is something saying something else, you have collected data from some other sample or population, some other sample of a population, and you're trying to do something. You're making a hypothesis something different from that. So this will not work. This will make you in a loophole of the data set. Should be specific. Hypothesis should be specific. What you want to do, what you want to achieve should be concisely written. I'll show you some example of the hypothesis also. It should be relevant, testable also, relevant also. And since it is specific, it should be simple also. So testable and relevant, then specific and simple. It should be very simple. The words, choice of the words should be very simple and specific. It should not be going very lengthy one and confusing words. One point is it's a hypothesis. You're assuming something. In assumption, you're assuming very complicated word, very complicated things, very complicated sentences, then doesn't make any sense. It is very clear and highly intellectual to say that you are assuming something out of the blue, and you are using the simple words and you're making very specific, which is relevant in the context of your study and which is testable. This is hypothesis. Moving ahead, types of hypothesis. How many types of hypotheses are there? I think a lot of you are doing empirical researches, and majority of you might be knowing also because you are already creating hypothesis. One major uh, known phenomena of hypothesis or types of hypothesis is the null hypothesis. And the opposite of that is the alternate hypothesis. Two more are into existence while formulating your hypothesis. Two more hypotheses are there. One is directional, one is non-directional. So by taking example, I want to explain this in this workshop. Let us take this example. Before explaining the example, I will tell, I want to share my personal experience and my personal knowledge of hypothesis, which I teach to my students also. I don't know. I'll take this platform as a um, as a platform where if something new can be added to this knowledge, I'll be very much helpful also. I particularly think that null hypothesis, I have seen people making null hypothesis in a positive statement. But I normally say that, and I always say that null hypothesis should always start with a negative statement. There are again two school of thoughts. Some say that you can take a positive statement, positive relationship between, now you can assume positive relationship between two variables, and that can be your null hypothesis. And reverse of that, alternate hypothesis will come to the negative one. Normally, null, the word null means nothing. It is not zero also. When there is nothing as such, and you are proposing an assumption, you should always take the negative part. Whenever you are making null hypothesis, try to make it in a negative statement. It will help you to get the alternate hypothesis written in a very nicely way, where it will give a clear picture of your formation of your alternate hypothesis. So I normally say that null hypothesis will be the negative relationship between the two variables you are proposing. So this is null hypothesis. Null hypothesis gives you a spark, or you can say the initiation point from where you can start your investigation. So to start the investigation, when you are saying that there exists no relationship between A and B, it makes a sense. Since you don't know anything, you don't have any data as such of now, you don't have any evidence to prove any relationship between A and B. You are normally saying there is no relation between A and B. Now I will try to collect data and try to see whether actually there is no relation or there exists some relation. Since you don't know the fact and figure, since you don't have anything with you in hand, it is always advisable to take the negative part and try to see whether the positive comes in picture or not, or this is happening. So if there is no relation between A and B substantiated with the data, later on it will come. Null hypothesis will be accepted. There's no problem in that. So this is what my knowledge and my particular experience is, and this is what I'm sharing with the scholars here. So taking the examples, null hypothesis, there is no significant difference in memory retention between students who study in the morning and those who study at the night. You can see it is saying that there is no significant difference in memory retention between students who study morning and who study in the night. Means it is taking the negative aspect and is saying that since we don't have any evidence, we are proposing that there is no significant difference in the memory retention. So what will become the alternate hypothesis of this one? The alternate will become the positive one. Students who study in the morning have better memory retention compared to those who study at night. Or we can also just take the same statement, make it positive, and this becomes the alternate also. Here the words has been reframed to make a sense, but there is no hard and fast rule that you should reframe your, you can rephrase your or set the words in a different way and so that the sentence looks nice. You can also take null hypothesis as there is no significant difference in memory retention between students who study in the morning and those who study at night. The alternate hypothesis can be there exists or there is significant difference in memory retention between students who study in the morning and those who study at the night. Very simple. Just replica, just mirror image of the negative statement into positive can be your alternate hypothesis. You want to make it fancy, you are always welcome. No problem with that. But nobody will uh, nobody should basically reject it. No, saying that this is not the right way of writing hypothesis, alternate or null. There is no hard and fast rule. Null will start with the negative relationship, assumption of negative relationship between the variables. Alternate will be saying that yes, there is a relationship or no kind of positive relationship between the variables. This is null and this is alternate. Taking from another domain, from marketing domain, if I take, there is no relationship between frequency of social media advertisement and customer purchase decisions. Since we are taking negative relationship assumption, it becomes the null hypothesis. When we are taking the positive, it becomes the alternate hypothesis. Here also, fancy words have been used and made it a little better to look like. It's up to the research scholar or the faculty members how you want to put the alternate hypothesis. Generally, nowadays in the contemporary research time, previously in the research article or the proposal, we used to mention both the hypothesis, null also, alternate also. Nowadays, the trend have started to come up with only writing the alternate hypothesis. You need not to write the null hypothesis of your assumption of your objective into the research article. You can start by saying only the alternate hypothesis by substantiating it with the argument or the literature you have written. So there is no hard and fast rule that you should write both null and alternate, or you can write null, or you cannot write alternate, or you can write alternate, or you can not write null. It's not, there is no such fixed rule as such as a thumb rule. It is always advisable, and it's a great practice right now in the scholars with the publication house and good journals also, that you start with your alternate hypothesis. Write the alternate hypothesis and start your study. So these are the two types of hypothesis. Third type is directional. Red color hypothesis is directional. Blue color, the hypothesis is non-directional. Let us see one by one. Students who study in a quiet environment will score higher on tests than those who study in noisy environment. This hypothesis is putting a direction of your assumption. What direction it is saying? A student who study in a quiet environment means quiet environment, if existing, it will help in scoring higher in tests. Students who study in quiet environment will score higher on test. Higher here means it is going up. So if the environment is quiet, means the nature of the environment is quiet, it will influence the score toward a higher one. So there is a direction, means quiet environment is influencing the score. If you see here in the blue hypothesis, this one, there is a significant difference in test scores between students who study in quiet environment and those who study in noisy environment. Here in this hypothesis, red one, there is a direction. You can feel a direction that, okay, quiet environment is influencing the score here in a positive way, and noisy environment is influencing the score in a negative way. Direction is there. But here in this blue one, you can see we are only talking about a difference in test score. We are not talking about higher difference or lower difference, positive difference or negative difference. We are just we are discussing about a difference, existence of a difference between test score between the students who study in quiet environment versus who study in noisy environment. Here there is no direction at all. It is kind of a correlation we are talking about. There is some correlation, but nature of correlation we are not talking about. So this type of statement or hypothesis is called as non-directional hypothesis, and this type of hypothesis, the red one, is called as directional hypothesis. When your variable or your statements is giving a direction towards something, it will called as directional hypothesis, and if it is not, like that. So I'll just read out the other hypothesis. Increasing the frequency of personalized email campaign will lead to a higher conversion rate in online sales. Increasing the frequency of personalized email campaign, you are increasing the personalized email campaign, then it is leading. Leading means direction is there. What direction? It will increase the conversion rate. Let's come to the non-directional. Frequency of personalized email campaign affects conversion rates in online sales. It is saying that it is affecting something. Okay, the frequency of personalized, what type of frequency? We're not talking about here. Only we're talking frequency. It can be positive, it can be negative, it can be increasing, it can be decreasing. Whatever frequency is, it is affecting the conversion rate. What type of effect it is doing on conversion rate? No, we are not writing that. So this type of statement is non-directional hypothesis. This type of statement is directional hypothesis. Let's take the third example also. People who engage in regular physical exercise have lower level of stress. There is a direction. If you are engaged actively in regular exercise, your stress level will go down. There is a direction. This very clear direction is saying in the hypothesis compared to those who do not exercise. So there is a direction. If we see here, there is a relationship between regular physical exercise and stress level. There is no direction at all. We're just talking about some correlation existing between these two variables, but we are not defining any kind of correlation, or we are not defining any characteristic or type of correlation, what type of relationship it is. So this is called non-directional hypothesis. Okay. Now let us go to the definition one by one. Null hypothesis states no relationship or effect between variables. Alternate hypothesis contradicts null hypothesis, stating a relationship exists. So these two work hand on hand. Directional hypothesis specifies the direction of the relationship between the variables, how much variables you have or you are putting in your hypothesis. Non-directional hypothesis states a relationship exists without specifying the direction. Means correlation is there. We're talking about some correlation, but what type of correlation, which direction it will go, it is going negative, it is going positive, it is going static, we don't know. So if you are formulating your hypothesis, your sentence is in this way, it is non-directional hypothesis. In this way, it is directional hypothesis, and these two, though, everybody know. Okay. Moving ahead. Formulating a hypothesis. So this is a very lot of books and articles are there which states about formulating hypothesis, and there are a lot of things to take care. If you go by marketing research book, you go by research methodology books, a lot of different authors have different kind of structure, kind of protocol or hierarchy or system they have written. All are correct. There is no such thing we should avoid using that or avoid using that, or we should be very skeptic of using only one or single process of formulating hypothesis. But in general, if we are not talking about any particular kind of research paper, in general, if you have to formulate the hypothesis for your proposal or for research paper, this is what we do. First is identify the variables. How you will identify the variable? You are going through the literature review. From there, you will derive the variables. Okay, because you have formulated the objective. Okay, you have formulated the research questions, and when you have formulated your research objective, then you are very much clear which variable you are talking about, what relationship you are going to check, what type of method it will be implying, and what time frame will be there. Like this, all these characteristics of the objective will be there. From there, one of characteristics is you have identified the variable. Then research question will be specifying what type of relationship you are investigating in the variables. So from there, you extract the key variables and write on. First step. Second step is review the literature and try to see. Again, for your hypothesis, generation of hypothesis, you again have to go through the literature. But this literature review will be totally different from the literature review you have done for taking the idea of your research paper for proposal or the idea of your objective or title. The literature review for formulating the hypothesis is to see particularly and specifically to see whether the variables which you have taken for your study, is there any potential relationship between these two? Have any study done in the past stating that kind of relationship is existing between these two or not? Or third thing, is there any possibility that by some other means or some other impact of variables, this relationship can be proved or not? So that's why we say potential relationship. Even though evidence is not there, but if you can get an insight that there is a possibility that there can be a relationship, you formulate your hypothesis and you can check it. Later on, if the data supports, you can prove the relationship and you can counter and accept the previous literature. You can cite it and you can write in your discussion also. So this literature review is different, just to substantiate your hypothesis and checking whether this relationship is supported or or countered by the existing literature or not. That will do. Then after your literature review, you will frame the hypothesis. You will use a clear statement, concise statement of the predicted relationship, which is I think someone's audio is on. Hello. Admin, can you do something? This is abusive, I guess.
Organizers can remove from their
Admin, can you
side.
do something? This is abusive, I guess. This is not, language is not good. Not
Sir, you can unmute yourself, sir.
yeah. It is done?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, sorry for the interruption. It was not the language we scholars expect. So please let it be. It's some personal matter. Okay, coming back. After the review and understanding the potential relationship of the variables, we frame the hypothesis. And as I stated earlier also, while writing the hypothesis, the words should be very clear and concise, should be very nicely written. I will take liberty of again showing something. I don't know whether I have taken that. Just a second. I just want to show you live how to write the hypothesis. It is written in this part, I guess. This one is. See, for example, this is the hypothesis. The researcher of this particular study have found out that university image and behavioral intention. Okay. There is a relationship between university image and behavioral intention. The researcher have found out something. So it is clearly argument is written. This is the literature review I'm talking about. And this is written very clearly. Many studies have strongly argued that image leads to and positively influence the favorable behavioral intention of the customers. Citation is given. In various industry settings like this it is given. So this argument itself substantiate that there exists some kind of relationship between the variable of your choice. Now you can formulate your hypothesis and you start working and see whether with your population or in your domain this potential relationship exists or not. Okay, so you can see here it is written that university image has a positive effect on management graduates' behavioral intention. Very nice words, very simply it is written. This is hypothesis. This is a 10th hypothesis. 10th hypothesis means S10 means it's an alternate hypothesis because we're talking about positive world. So it's an alternate hypothesis. This is how hypothesis should be written. Very clear and concise. And this is the literature review has been done. Argument has been given. Why the relevancy is there. And then the hypothesis has been made. This is a live example of how a hypothesis should be made. I'm just putting it out. So after the hypothesis is framed, ensure testability. Verify that your hypothesis can be measured and tested. Since in the example also you can see, since argument has been made, literature is available, so there is a ground that yes, we can do, at least we can do this study because many people have done it. See, 1 reference, 2 reference, 3 reference, three reference they have given, and other references also they might have given in the project in this particular study. It is showing the evidence that this can be tested. This relationship can be tested because people in different industry settings have already done it. Means there exists a room for further investigating this relationship, and that is how a hypothesis is made. Okay. Moving ahead. Now we have talked about objective and hypothesis. Let us try to understand what is the relationship between the objectives and hypothesis. Research objectives guide what the researcher aims to study. Okay, that is a guide. It basically gives you the roadmap, what you want to study and how you will be completing your study. While the hypothesis provides a testable prediction based on those objectives. Based on the objectives, you have identified the variables. Based on the variables, you identified the potential relationships. And now you are predicting that in my domain also, with my population also, this relationship can be proven. So you are predicting that this can be proven. So that prediction you take and you carry. So this is hypothesis. Objective is giving you a roadmap of the study. Hypothesis gives you testable prediction based on the objectives. This is the difference, or you can say how you can align objective and hypothesis. They work hand in hand to structure and focus the research. Your objective and hypothesis should be in such a way, you should write your objectives and hypothesis in very nice way and in such a way that it should be aligned to each other. It should not deviate it should not deviate by any means. Okay? Let us take an example. To examine the effect of leadership styles on team performance. Leadership styles, a lot of leadership styles are there. Right? A lot of leadership styles are there. Team performance, what type of performance we are talking about? A lot of kind of team performance are there in organization behavior and human resource management. So we don't know. Okay. So this is a broad objective. So this is called objective. From this objective, hypothesis will be like what? Transformational leadership positively impacts team performance compared to transactional leadership. Two types of leadership are existing. Here it is mentioned, transformational leadership and transactional leadership. And the study is saying that transformational leadership, or the study is proposing or predicting transformational leadership positively impacts team performance. So they are taking two variables from the objective and try to see and try to make a relationship which can be tested further into the domain of the study. So this is hypothesis. I think till here things are clear. Now, till 1.5 was the class time. I think it's 7:24. Okay, so I'm little ahead, 2-3 minutes ahead. So what I want to do is I want to give around 10 minutes, kind of 10 to 12 minutes to the participants. Kindly try to do this hypothesis, this exercise activity. Kind of. This activity is a case study exercise. Let's put our knowledge into practice with the case study on impact of remote work on employee well-being. Okay, the case which is given here, which I am proposing is, or you can say the title of the domain of the study is, we are looking for impact of remote work on employee well-being. So your task is to identify the problem. At least you identify one problem with this case. Clearly state the research problem. You formulate objectives, clearly state 2 to 3 research objectives, and at least write 2 hypotheses, develop a null and alternate hypothesis based on your objective. 2 means 1 null, 1 alternate hypothesis. Can the participant do that in kind of how much minutes you may take? 5, 7, 8, 10 minutes. This exercise will help reinforce your understanding of research objectives and hypotheses. If you do that right now, I think my job will be done. You have to identify the problem of this case. Then you have to formulate 2 to 3 objectives, specific objectives. We're not talking about the broader objectives. And based on the objective, try to formulate one null hypothesis and one alternate hypothesis. Do this and let's discuss. The forum is open. I'll try to answer as much questions as I can. If anything I will not be able to answer, I'll note it down and I'll get back to the organizers with the answers, and the answers will be delivered to you. So thank you very much for your patient listening. My objective of having the session on objective and hypothesis is completed here, and I'm very happy and extend my heartfelt thanks to the participants and the organizer for giving me this opportunity. Now the forum is open for question and answer and any doubts with this case study. Kindly do this case and then we discuss. I'll request organizers to, I think you may allow someone who have the answer or who have completed this case and want to talk. I think it has been muted from the organizer side. Okay, I can't hear anyone. Am I audible? I just want to confirm it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay.
You're
I cannot
audible,
hear
sir.
anything.
We are working on it. Seriously.
Perfect. Thank you. So please try to do this one and then we can discuss something and clarify some doubts also.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I want to know about can we make objective hypothesis and research question in a same proposal?
Yes, no problem. You can do that. The only thing is you have to maintain the order of which will come first and which will come second. Normally, if you're writing the proposal and you want to include all these three, then you should go with the objective, research question, and then hypothesis.
Oh. Thank you, sir.
No, yeah, and if you don't want to, make your task a little complicated, it is advised that you make specific objectives with 2 to 3 statements of objectives very clearly mentioned, and you directly go to the hypothesis with the literature review, substantiating your hypothesis. So research questions may not be required in that case, but if some study are there, the nature of study says that no research questions are required, or sometimes the universities and institutions are having a kind of a format that you have to put research questions after your objective. So in that case, you should take the objective first, then put the research questions, bifurcating the objectives, and then you go for the hypothesis.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, to me, yeah, please, you have raised your hand, you can tell.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Sir, one of the participant is asking that what is a type 1 and type 2 error, sir?
This is basically in the hypothesis. When we accept the hypothesis and it was not to be accepted, and this type of problem comes. So just a second. When we're doing the hypothesis testing and your it appears that null hypothesis of your experiment or your study or data analysis, the null hypothesis is true, means your p-value is not significant of your study. When the p-value is not significant, you accept your null hypothesis. So it seems that your null hypothesis was correct, but still you rejected it. But it can happen because of the sampling error. It can happen with other errors in the parameters you have taken or the study analysis part you have done. So null hypothesis was to be accepted, but it was true also, and you have rejected it. So this is type 1 error, means the first hypothesis which you have taken, it was true in nature, and by any means or other factors influenced you or your data analysis, and statistically you have to reject that. So that's called the type 1 error. When null hypothesis is false, you have taken the null hypothesis and it was to be rejected. It is false, but by default or by mistake you fail to refuse of accepting it or fail to refuse it, and you missed that this is false and you have accepted it. So basically this becomes the type 2 error. So when null hypothesis was right, you rejected it by some mistake, it's type 1 error. When null hypothesis was false and you mistakenly accepted it, it becomes type 2 error. This is the process of you are doing hypothesis testing.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Tell me.
Sir, I am Dr. Ramesh from Modi University, Rajasthan.
Sir.
Sir, I have mentioned based on the topic that you gave, I have mentioned in the chat box the research problem.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, the problem is that I have written nature of work and employee satisfaction.
Let me see the chat box. You can tell also, since there are a lot of chats I have to go through.
Sir, the problem that I have written is nature of work and employee satisfaction.
Okay, nature of work on employee satisfaction,
G.
impact of remote work on employee well-being. So you have
G.
written that nature of work on employee satisfaction.
And sir, and employee satisfaction.
So employee satisfaction and employee well-being are two different things. So
Yes, sir.
you can take that problem. There is no problem in that, but you have to take at least employee well-being factor, some factor. Well-being is satisfaction will lead to that employee well-being. It is a kind of a HR term. In
G,
well-being,
G.
a lot of intrinsic factors also comes in picture, like
Sir.
motivation, right? And thinking of like if other benefits are given by the company for the employee to take
Sir.
care of the health benefit of the family also, and he is his stress, his motivation, his intrinsic other factors. If it
Sir.
is impacted by the remote work, then performance will go down. And yes, you can take satisfaction also. Satisfaction will also go down, but satisfaction will not go down because of the remote work, and it will not be on the impact part. It will be, you will be dissatisfied because you are not, your well-being is not is in picture, is not in picture.
Sir, sir.
So you have taken the research problem. Then what will be your objective on your research problem? If let us take your you have taken this research problem, not a problem.
Sir,
Then
G.
what will be the research objective?
Sir, I need to think a little bit on this.
Please do that, no problem. So this is just a task given to you so that we can
Sir,
do our
really, this is an
brainstorming.
excellent sir. This is an excellent task and very technically framed.
Okay, you can do it at your
Sir,
leisure
Sir,
and you
this
can take the
is
photo also. Please.
Sir, this is Dr. Pavni. Can I, sir?
Yeah, please, ma'am. Please tell.
Yes, sir. Sir, like I don't know whether like I could fulfill to your expectations, but I tried something, sir.
In research, everything is okay. This is not a problem. Please tell me.
Sir, I mean, identifying a problem is remote work can affect both physical and mental health well-being, sir. And then coming
Okay.
to the objectives, to understand the dimensions of work-life balance from remote places. And the second
Okay.
objective is to understand the correlation between physical and mental well-being from working from home or remote places. And third objective is to examine remote work can save time and can get ample time to spend with the family.
Third objective is little kind of vague. You can remove that. First two objective you can work on.
Okay.
First two work objectives are clear and precise. Third objective is little kind of, it's kind of coming from your hunch, if I must say. So you're going ahead with the literature and you are putting that thing. Okay, you can take that, but I will try to refrain it. Make the first and second objectives are your clear objective based on your problem. It's nice.
Okay.
Now, based on the two objectives, formulate your hypothesis, null and alternate if you can.
Yes, and null, it does affect the mental health of an individual. It may or may not be, but after, I mean, going through a proper research, I'll come to know, right, sir? So,
see, just I want to update you so that whenever you work, you will be on the right track.
okay,
When you are making the null hypothesis, try to make it a negative statement.
Okay.
Means whatever variable you have taken, there is no correlation between these two variables. This becomes your null hypothesis. The alternate becomes there exists positive and significant relationship between these two variables. That becomes an alternate hypothesis. So when you have this thumb rule with you that whenever we are formulating null hypothesis, we always or we shall go for the negative relationship. You will be very much clear down the line to the research that what will be your null hypothesis, what will be your alternate hypothesis. You will never forget this. Many books, if you take from foreign authors, they while explaining the concept in their book, they write null hypothesis as a positive statement itself. Don't get confused. It is just an example.
Okay, sir.
Null should always be negative. Yeah, people say use positive also, but I prefer wherever I say that you take null hypothesis as a negative statement. Try to prove it right or wrong.
Sir, I think like I can put it in this way, right? Remote work doesn't affect the mental health of an individual
Exactly.
or mental well-being of an individual.
Whatever variable.
Yes.
Very rightly you said, this become your null hypothesis. The alternative will become just opposite of that. And you can
Okay.
start your collection of data. You can analyze it, and you can see whether the p-value is significant or not. If the p-value is not significant, null hypothesis accepted. If it is significant, alternate accepted. Very clear.
Okay, sir. So in that sense, alternative hypothesis would be individual image has a positive outcome towards remote work.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
next please.
Sir, I have a question as well, sir. Can I?
Please, ma'am. People are waiting. Please tell ma'am.
Yes, sir. I mean, sir, some research will also carry without hypothesis, right? Sir, is it valid or isn't it valid? Because like, as you said, empirical research needs a proper hypothesis.
If it is empirical in nature, do not go start your study without hypothesis.
Okay.
Because if you are using regression, you are using correlation or anything. So any mathematical tool or statistical tool you are using, there will be values which are interpreted for hypothesis only. P-value will be there, correlation of this coefficients value will be there. So a lot of T-value will be there, right? So
Yes,
all these
sir.
values substantiate the hypothesis and they help you to accept or reject your hypothesis.
Yes, sir.
So if you're not having the hypothesis, then what is the relevancy of using a statistical tool then? Doesn't make any sense.
Sir,
If it is
but
exploratory study, if it is a descriptive study, only literature review, then of course you can think of that. But take hypothesis for every study and make it a thumb rule of yours. It will be helping you in getting good publications.
Okay. Sir, like, I have small doubt, sir. Sir, because in sociological research, we often go with qualitative data rather than quantitative. So in that context, mostly we don't do the statistical analysis related to correlation or regression because we go with the qualitative data like these interviews, questionnaires, or oral narratives, etc. So in that sense, how to identify our variables or how we can go with our hypothesis or something which is not getting.
For qualitative study, there are different methods.
Yes, sir.
But in qualitative study also, people take hypothesis just to start the investigation. Because in qualitative also, you will go for interview or you will go for a schedule and you will observe.
Yes, sir.
When you are observing some phenomena, you can take the hypothesis beforehand that this phenomena is not good, or this phenomena is not existable, or it does not make any sense. Whatever you are saying, this statement is itself a hypothesis to start the investigation that this phenomena does not happen. And now you are observing and try to see whether this is happening or not. So you have taken a hypothesis itself. You can write that, and after the qualitative data you have collected, whatever answer or conclusion you're coming up, try to see whether you have what you have assumed. After the assumption, whether the answer which you are reporting in the study, is it countering your assumption, or it is going in parallel, or it is in the same view of your assumption. If it is in the same view of the assumption, likewise you can answer. So hypothesis doesn't mean any technical term as a hypothesis. It's an assumption. Take an assumption, try to see whether it is right or wrong in your study or not. And for qualitative study, approaches are little different from empirical.
Yes.
So that you can take my number from the organizers and email also, and we can discuss on that in detail. This is a forum, others are also waiting. So we can discuss on that. Qualitative research
Thank you,
takes
sir.
little
Thank
bit
you
different
so
approach.
much, sir. Yes, sir.
Ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Please next. Anyone else? We still have time. No problem. I'll share my
Sir, good
email in the
evening,
chat
sir.
box if it is okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah. Good
evening,
evening,
sir.
ma'am.
Hello. Hello.
Good evening, both of you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Please tell.
Thank you so much for the session, sir. This is
Welcome, ma'am.
Bhagyavati. I sociology in government college in Karnataka. You were telling that having hypothesis in every research is mandatory. Whenever you do the empirical research,
Empirically,
and
not mandatory, but yeah, it is advisable to take every time hypothesis and try to start your study with the hypothesis. Yeah. Please tell.
okay. And coming to the assignment you have given, the research problem goes like this: how flexibility of working impacts the well-being of the employees.
Very nice.
And the objective is to identify the effect of remote working on overall health of the employees.
Okay. Any more objective?
Yeah.
Okay.
To know if there is any nexus between the remote working and the efficiency of the employees.
Efficiency is again out of the context of the case because employee well-being and efficiency a little bit different. But yes, if his stress level is high, efficiency may go down. So you can add another variable in that. Okay, I like your answer. It's a good one. So what will be your hypothesis
And
then?
coming to there is no significant effect of remote working on the employees' well-being. This is my null hypothesis.
Okay. Null,
And
correct.
alternate is employees who work remotely are more productive than the employees working in the office.
Okay, correct. The answer is theoretically correct.
Does that make
Symptomatically
sense?
correct. What could be the right answer? Whoever is right answer, it can be debatable, no problem. But I like your answer. It's very nice. Your approach is good. You have taken into consideration a different variable which was not in the case, and you have tried to map it with the case study.
Like
Nice. Very nice work.
What I'm trying to convey here is if your well-being is good, you're more productive. Maybe it is implied. I might not have put it in explicit way.
Perfect. I got it.
Can
I
we
got it.
rephrase it in a better way?
You have got outside of the bracket of the context, and you have taken another variable and tried to put this relationship between the context. I like that approach. That's why I told you I liked your approach. You have gone little ahead of the question and tried to answer it and incorporate another variable. This is a good researcher's attitude. Nice one.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, welcome, ma'am.
Sir, I have a question. Myself, Archana Nihare. Sir, how we decide that our objectives are general or specific, sir?
The choice of the words, I must say. I'll show you here in the previous slide. You can see here broad goals of the study. If your statement is stating about a very broad goal, for example, social media, impact of social media on consumer behavior, or you can take any other your subject domain objective. What is your domain of study? Which area you are?
Sir, in tribal area, sir.
No, tribal means what area of study you prefer? What is your stream, department?
Sir, sociology, sir.
Sociology. Let's take impact of women self-help groups on the village productivity. Now, this is a very broad area. Women self-help group can impact the per capita income of the women in the village, or it can influence the decision makers. It can influence a lot of things. No? You're not talking about the particular thing. You're talking about the village productivity or village well-being in general. So when your objectives are like this, so this becomes a broad objective. And when you are bifurcating it into specific objective like impact of women self-help groups on income, increase of income of the women in the village, this becomes your specific object. I think you got my point.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. Understood, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am. Please,
Sir, am I audible?
please continue. Yeah, you're audible. Please continue.
My name is Shiksha, and the research problem is in present world, remote work provides flexibility, but it has also raised concern about its effect on person's physical and mental health.
Okay.
The research objectives are to assess the effect of remote work on employees' mental health, to examine the physical health challenges of a person who is working remotely. These two are
Okay.
research objectives.
So
And
yeah, I'll take that. No problem. Please continue with the hypothesis.
The null hypothesis is remote work has no significant
Impact.
impact on employees' mental and physical health.
Okay.
Yes, now
I
let
think
me
in the
invite Professor Sanjay Tiwari, sir, to give vote of thanks.
can I answer this one? Just, ma'am, in
Yes,
the
sir.
objective, you are using mental and physical well-being, right?
Yes, sir.
If you take only one word, don't take the two characteristics of the objective, only mental health.
Yes, sir.
Then your objective becomes specific and your research become good. If you're taking two, it's kind of a two, what do you call, serpent swords in one.
So these are
Well,
I have made two research objectives. So one is
yeah,
on
you
mental
take
health and other
one objective take on mental health, and second you take the physical health.
health. Yes,
This
sir.
becomes a specific objective and very clearly written, and then you can go for the hypothesis. Your null
Okay.
hypothesis is correct. Only you don't take the both of the words, physical and mental,
Okay, sir.
stress. You take only one. This becomes specific, and this will be nice.
Thank you
So
so
you
much.
have also the approach is nice. I like the idea. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Good job. Yeah, over to the organizers, please. So anybody want to ask any questions? I think I have given my email ID in the chat box. You can note it down, and for any collaborative research or any doubts or anything you want for this for this session, you can contact me. There is no problem at all. Thank you very much. Over to the organizers, please. Dr. Tiwari, I guess.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vivek. And I'm really thankful to the participants and you for delivering something really very great as far as this research objectives and hypothesis is concerned, because the session was also very interactive because we had a lot many questions. I suppose questions we are taking for the past 20 or 25 minutes, And in any discussion, in any proposal or in any topic discussion, this part is really very important. Today, unfortunately, I couldn't join in the evening session because I was delivering a lecture at the faculty development program, and that was basically on inferences, sampling, and conclusions, and plagiarism also.
Right. Very much.
Now,
Nice,
since I'm back to my own, you can say, institution as far as this workshop is concerned, I thank you very much for enlightening our people over here, the research scholars, the faculties. The questions were indeed very good, and when the candidates put up their questions, now it is basically an eye opener for each and everybody. That's good.
Yes, that's definitely.
So let's end with a very fine note over here. And this was the third day. We have still 4 more days, because the basic intention behind going for this sort of a workshop was this, because that earlier workshop in July was towards, you can say, research, basically towards research methodology, literature review, and all these things. Then we had something on SPSS and academic writing. But this time we planned that we should go something as far as project writing is concerned, because people these days are more inclined towards presenting their papers, etc., and not in publications. So publications is one area where we ought to be very cautious. We have to be very attentive, and we have to increase our knowledge bankings. And faculty like you are here to provide us all these things. I thank you by the core of the heart. All my participants for the questions, etc. And please, tomorrow also be in time, be with us through the full session. I find some of us who leave the session in between. I'm trying to keep a note on all these things. It does not seem good. If in case you are trying to listen to something, please listen. You have your earphones with you, and then you can put up something of your choice at the end of the session. Thank you very much, dear ladies and gentlemen, and good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, all of you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
So now let me invite Dr. Sanjay Tiwari, sir, to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Will please share the mail ID of the expert.
Yeah, in the chat box, I have mentioned it. If you can get it. Yeah, in the chat box, I think it has been given.
Sir, can you provide the answer for your question?
Yeah, I told there is no particular answer for that. It is to check what is the approach of the scholars and how they are proceeding. So with this particular my
There's
case
a
study,
technical issue, sir is not able to come. Dear participants, thank you so much for active participation. We'll be having a fourth day at tomorrow, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Requesting also participate. Thank you so much. Sincerely thanking the resource person. Thank you, sir.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. For any query, mail please. I will answer. No problem. Have a nice